Alright, so I ended up getting my little CX Racing intercooler. This is the Datsun 510 one that they actually sell. But, so I need to go ahead and cut it out. I already got it marked right there, kind of the yellow line on the edge where it's going to go. And the radiator will sit like right above it. The radiator will kind of sit up here, you know, like right there somewhere. And then the hood closes and everything just fine, so that should be fine, I hope. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that out and hack this son of a bitch up. So yeah. So I'm coming along a little bit better on this thing. I got some of the wiring and stuff kind of more, not really it's shitty, but I was going to say tucked, but it's not. So I got this, that's my intercooler piping. So it goes down there 90 up to this little jagged thing to that 90. Radiator, I got a random ass radiator hose that fits this off of Camaro. Right here, I don't like this, but that's just kind of, you know, I could start it like that and go for a drive like that. But got the intercooler bolted. I need to make some sort of a bracket. I was just kind of setting shit down there to see what I want to do. I'm not sure yet. Need to mess with, you know, heater hose lines, all that crap. This is kind of my mess right here. I got the AM just chilling on the ground. This is basically like 3 or 4 wires, and I could actually start it, but kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all the factory, you know, harness and stuff under the dash, because there's not really much that I want to use, because I have that easy wire kit. I just kind of set that S13 gauge cluster in there just to see, you know, how it would look. I want some sort of, you know, instrumentation in here so I know how fast and what RPM and the coolant, you know, all that shit. Even though the serial, because I have a serial gauge, true boost, and then the air fuel or whatever. But the serial gauge shows the, you know, coolant temp too. But you know, need a tack, and I don't want a giant bastard in here. And then speedo, something that looks decent and actually works with all the Nissan crap. So I'm gonna try to wire that in. Might be temporary until I figure out something else. That's the thing for the Spitfire coil packs. Gonna mount the ECU kind of right up there like that. You know, mount it all nice. I kind of want to clean up the wiring more, but I kind of just want to get it driving. So, but yeah. Alright, so today I'm dicking with the Datsun wiring. I got this whole easy wire kit kind of all segregated. This is the front headlight crap. This is kind of like engine bay slash, you know, should be engine bay, but it's not. Just pretty much going to run over to the ECU because I'm using most of the, you know, SR harness for that. So I'm just going to kind of tie into that. You know, the red wires are like coil and power to this and power to that. So I'm just going to run those to the ECU. This is the taillight section. This right here, that chunk right there is pretty much the, you know, under dash, and this is kind of like radio, instrument panel, and some other random. This is a unnecessary portion, but I'm just gonna kind of tie it up. It's maybe for later for like power windows and stuff. But I got the whole dash ripped apart. Got all the factory wiring out of it. This is the factory dash harness. This is the engine bay harness, and then I only really have like this little wire right there going to the back for the taillights and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, but I'm going to get this all set up in here so that I could at least wire up the ignition switch and stuff, so I can give, you know, like the supposed, you know, coil power, but basically give the ECU power off of ignition so I could crank it and get it started, and then wire the headlights and taillights and all that crap too. So alright, so the time has come where I think I'm going to actually try and crank it. Well, I've been cranking it for a sec, trying to build a little bit of oil pressure. flipped on the fuel pump, made sure there wasn't any leaks. It was leaking over there a little bit. You can see a little bit of the 85 kind of dried up already, but drained the tank of all the old shitty fuel and put about a gallon or so of E85 and drained that through it too. So it's got all fresh E85 in it. Here's my headlight wiring and all that crap. None of that's hooked up to any power. You know, the engine's pretty much on its own thing. I got this little distribution block down there for like a audio system. So I got, you know, the battery and all that crap hooked up through that. In here in my little mess of wires, got this little box with some relays and crap in it hooked up to the factory harness. All that stuff. I got this little circuit breaker right here. There's for the coil packs. Got, you know, the battery cable going through the grommet, little crap like that. This is going to be kind of the stuff that ends up powering all this crap later, well, you know, next couple days or so. But I'm just kind of doing this to get the engine running, and then I got to mess with all that crap over there at the ignition switch. So basically, this right here cranks it. Alright, so anyhow, I guess I'm going to go ahead and try to fire it real quick. Pretty much it's just straight off the turbo over there. So nothing's leaking, so anyhow, take two. Fuel pump and all the ECU crap, bull crap, but I'm just hitting the button with the, oh, damn you. But yeah, you can see all my wiring in here. It's kind of cleaning up a little bit, but got all this, got that little fuse breaker right there. Got the wiring and all that stuff for the ignition on there. Let me go ahead and plug in this thing. Okay, so I got the battery with some sack on it. So let's take 3. Should start now. Look at that bad boy. Normally it stays spinning a lot more after you actually, you know, got some oil through it. But yeah, anyhow, runs. It's on the 85. I've got, you know, pretty much all the little crap hooked up. The radiators down the street. I got this little, where the hell is it? This thing, little racing reservoir, whatever. It's gonna go over here. But basically, the radiator, it sits up pretty high, about right there, and it doesn't have a cap. So this right here basically runs to the bottom of the radiator. It's gonna stick on there, and then this goes to the top of the radiator, so it just kind of bubbles, circulates it, so it kind of bleeds it all the time. So I shouldn't have too many cooling issues with it. It should stay, you know, bubble free. But yeah, that's about it. Pretty much that, and tighten down the intercooler piping. I have to take this bung out of here. That's the IAT bung for the AEM, and you know, weld it onto my other little pipe. So cut it out of there, grind it all nice, and do that. And then the down pipe for that was on the SR actually fits, is pretty close in here, so I'll have to modify that a little bit. and get some exhaust on this thing probably here soon. Just can't wait to drive it. Got the gauges and stuff right there. But yeah, I think that's it for, this is part 3 Datsun. So, but I was thinking about painting this thing again eventually. You know, probably after I drive it around for a little while till it gets shitty weather, and then I might strip it back down and, you know, paint the bay and do all that crap, or maybe not paint the bay or just drive it. I don't know. But let me know what color you guys think this thing would look dope in, and you know, just give me some suggestions, because I don't have any idea. But yeah. So anyhow, I actually got pretty far on the Datsun today. I really didn't make too many any movie at all of the whole process, but I got HIDs and stuff in, the blinkers in, you know, the running lights and all that crap all wired. I have the ignition switch, as you can tell, still a mess in here, but I got the ignition switch wired, the blinkers wired, and the headlights wired. So I'm kind of pumped about that, and I got the tail lights wired as well. So anyhow, if I go ahead and flick on the ignition, and then you can turn on the blinker, and you can see it, you know, flickering and doing all its magical blinker stuff, which is awesome. And then headlights turn on, and these are the HIDs. I think they're like 6K or something like that, 55 watt. So they're bright as shit. So that's gonna be nice, kind of modern headlights in an old ass car. But you know, lights and all that crap work. So super pumped about that. You know, I was kind of at the point, you know, I was reading a bunch of stuff and just getting confused and all that. But I mean, it's pretty simple. I just left this harness back here and figured out what the wires went to, and then just pretty much wired them up. You know, I had to re-ground it and stuff like that. But I was getting ready to throw this whole harness back in there, you know, because I was so confused looking at this other one. But I still got some other things I need to figure out. You know, I need a cigarette lighter. That's simple, but I gotta wire that, you know, little air conditioning thing. There's another little plug right there on the back of it, so I need to wire that so it actually works with the blower and stuff. But you know, and then end up cleaning all this crap up. I'm gonna end up taking a bunch of the other stuff out, but yeah, so headlights stuff work, and then it, you know, turns them off, and then they just kind of, so you could just sit chilling. And then I don't have any, you know, the high beams in right now, but all that stuff's pretty much wired as well. And I have the horn too. I even hooked that up, so I hear the relay clicking. So I have the wire for a horn up here. So I was kind of expecting like nothing to work at all, and then now pretty much everything, you know, super important works at least. So I need to get the windshield wiper motor working, and a few other little things, but I think that's gonna kind of call it a night for tonight. But so yeah, now the actual ECU primes the fuel pump, and then the so it actually starts off the key now, you know, turns on and off, and, you know, lets the ECU trigger the fuel pump and all that stuff. So making progress. Definitely a learning experience for sure. Kind of glad I ended up doing this, because I learned a shitload so far, and still learning, but yeah, the blinkers in the back will work. They're just the bulbs. There's no bulbs in them right now, so I need to go get some bulbs, and pretty much just after that, clean it all up and get it all tucked away. I'm gonna run the 240SX dash, so I have all the instrument, panel lights and crap set up for that. So I need to wire all that crap, so I actually have gauges and stuff. But yeah, that's about it. Alright, so I finally got the radiator mounted and the intercooler piping all bolted up. Ended up using a different, I guess, cold pipe right here. Did like a little 90 that I had that already had the IET bung and the proper size, idle air control hose in it. And then you can see there's the bung down there that goes up to the little external reservoir or whatever. Made this little bracket to kind of bolt it up there, and I'm going to make another little bracket that bolts to the back and over there so it stops wiggling. There's a catch can kind of halfway hooked up, the fuel pressure regulator. I don't really like how much actual crap is in the engine bay. There's just like a bunch of random stuff that needs to be in here. Like that thing and all that shit and a bunch of hoses and stuff. But anyhow, down there I got the magical eBay knockoff HKS in its glory. But I fit one fan on here. This is a radiator hose I got from O'Reilly's. It was like perfect for this setup, and then I had to use a big giant one for the bottom. And I put a hose on the inside of it and then like kind of glued them together and stuff to get that to work. The exhaust is pretty much just a little chunk. It ends, right there. So I need to fix that. Pretty much exhaust and put a heat shield and wrap all that crap and kind of go through and button up all the little crap. But pretty much it should be ready to drive. Basically, as soon as I kind of run around it and button up a bunch of little things, probably spend about another hour on it, and I'll take it for a drive, but not tonight. But yeah,